Hare Krishna, Urmila Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I think we can start with the Manglacharan as Prabhuji will join in 10 minutes time. I can start. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri UtapadaKamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskrityam, Naram Chaivam Narottamam, Devi Saraswatim Vyasam, Tato Jayam Mudivate. Nashtaprayeshu Padreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. We are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 2, Chapter 9, Text 33. Text 33. Aham eva sam avagre nanyat yat sat asat param Paschad aham yad etakcha yo vashishyate so samya aham. We are reading now the fourth paragraph of this canto, and chapter 9 is the answers by citing Lord's version. The word to word is aham, I, the personality of Godhead, eva, certainly, asam, existed, eva, only, agre, before the creation, na, never, anyant, anything else, yat, all those, sat, the effect, asat, the cause, param, the supreme, paschat, at the end, aham, I, the personality of Godhead, yat, all these, etat, creation, cha, also, ya, everything, avashishyate, remains, saha, that, asmi, I am, aham, I, the personality of Godhead. Translation, Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation, when there was nothing but myself, nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead. And after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead. So we've read the first three verses. We continue with the fourth. In various places in Srimad Bhagavatam and in other revealed scriptures, the existence of personality of Godhead is mentioned. For example, in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.8.10, Maharaj Parikshit asks, Sa chapi yatra purusho vishwasteyi uba bhavapayaya muktvatma mayam maesha sete sarva guhashaya. How does the personality of Godhead, the cause of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, who is always freed from the influence of the illusionary energy and is the controller of the same, lie in everyone's heart? Similarly, also is a question of Vidura. Tatvanam bhagavatam stesham katidha prakesha rama tatre mam ka upasiran ka yustiv anusherata. Bhagavat 3.7.37. Sridhara Swami explains, this is his notes. During the annihilation of the creation, who serves the Lord lying on the Shesha, etc., this means that the Transcendental Lord, with all his fame, name, quality, and paraphernalia, exists eternally. The same confirmation is also in the Kashi Khanda of the Khanda, Skanda Purana, in connection with Dhruva Charitra. It is said there, Na chaivante piyat bhakta mahatyam parla yapadi atochyuto khile loke isa eka sarvagobra yaya. Even the devotees of the personality of Godhead are not annihilated during this period of entire annihilation of the material world. Not to speak of the Lord himself. The Lord is ever existent in all three stages of the material change. The impersonalist induces no activity in the Supreme, but in this discussion between Brahma and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord is said to have activities also, as he and his form and quality. The activities of Brahma and other demigods during the maintenance of the creation are to be understood as the activities of the Lord. The king or the head executive of the state may not be seen in the government offices, but he may be engaged in royal comforts. Yet he should be understood that everything is being done under his direction and everything is at his command. The personality of Godhead is never formless. In the material world, he may not be visible in his personal form to the less intelligent class of men, and therefore he may sometimes be called formless, but actually he was always in his eternal form in his Vaikuntha planets, as well as in other planets of the universe at different incarnations. The example of the sun is very appropriate in this connection. The sun in the night may not be visible to the eyes of men in the darkness, but the sun is visible wherever it has risen. That the sun is not visible to the eyes of the inhabitants of a particular part of the earth does not mean that the sun has no form. Hare Krishna, I think Prabhuji has still not joined. Maybe we can deliberate on what we have read. Anybody has any thoughts? As I was reading, I was just seeing that it said that the Transcendental Lord, with all his name, fame, quality, and paraphernalia, exists eternally. So yesterday we asked questions. What is this paraphernalia? Can anybody tell me what is paraphernalia?
Mataji, Hare Krishna, Mataji. So my understanding is that, but I could be wrong. My understanding is that so the Lord comes with Shankha Chakra, Gada, Padma. So all of that, everything that comes along with the Lord are his paraphernalia. Whether it's, it doesn't mention his associates, but the Lord always comes with his associates. And when the Lord does come in his Narayan form, he comes with, Shankha Chakra, Gada, and Padma. And anything else, if he's coming, say, for example, with Gajendra, he came on Garuda. He had to come on Garuda. So anything that comes, anything or anybody that comes along with the Lord, for him to be able to perform his leela, that is mentioned here as paraphernalia.
I think you're right, Mataji, because in just the 2 sentences after that shloka, it says, even devotees of the personality of Godhead are not annihilated during the period of entire annihilation of the material world, not to speak of the Lord himself. So, in the paraphernalia, it is the devotees as well, because when you do devotional service, you are one of the paraphernalia. You are offering him the arti and you are giving yourself to him. So his devotees don't, they are not annihilated. So all the Shankha, Gada, Chakra are all actually personalized. They are all devotees of the Lord. So, and obviously all the other devotees as well, the associates he's comes with, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came with Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivas, Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So he came with his Bhakta Vrinda, and he came with his associates. So like that, Lord, the devotees are not annihilated. Why I stopped and I smiled is I just remembered something. I think I can share it with you. So we had the Bhumi Pujan in Eldoret. So Bhumi Pujan is that you, before we build a temple, you do a yagna and you are asking Mother Earth for her blessing so that we can have the lordships over there. And when you build a temple, there is so Mahavishnu Maharaj was here. So he's a very big devotee from Birmingham, but he's interested. He is in Africa. But I think I'll reserve this later on because Prabhuji has just. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for joining in, Prabhuji. Can I give you 2 minutes to organize yourself? I was just telling them something, the group. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I think Prabhuji is having a challenge. Till then, I can quickly tell my story. So when they dig the bhumi, then when they put the bricks where the lordships will be staying. And where you dig the bhumi, you are supposed to put Ananta Shesha. Ananta Shesha is Balram incarnation, but when you do the temple, you put a form of Nag in the place where the lordships will be. So Balram will be coming first and then Krishna will come. So as we were digging, this was 5 days before the Bhumi Puja, or 10 days before the Bhumi Puja. They were just digging the place where we are going to be doing. Ananta Shesh appeared. We had a small idol of, I can share that picture on the group. And so the person who got it, the local person, he didn't know about it. So he just hid it. He didn't even give it to the temple president. But I don't know what happened after 5 days. He must have realized that he should give it. So then he gave it to the temple president. So I feel that his associate has already come to Eldoret. So the Anant Shesh has already come to us in this form, and now the Lord will come. So that was really something. Now we have great faith that the Lord will come to Eldoret. So anyway, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, glory to Prabhupada.
All
I had
glories to Shri.
some issue with my computer, so I switched to the phone.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you perfectly and we can see you as well. So this is working well.
All right. How is everyone?
Everyone's good.
Nice festivals, I think.
Yes, we had an excellent festival. We had the Rath Yatra, we had the Bhumi Pujan, and we all are feeling very elevated.
Very divine, yes.
Yeah.
So how can I be of service today?
Okay, so Prabhuji, we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 2, Chapter 9, and the verse for today is text 33. But text 33 has a big purport. So what we have been doing we have been doing a paragraph at a time. So today we are on the 4th paragraph. So which starts with in various places in Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhuji,
Okay, would you like to pick up the reading, please?
So we have read the purport. We have read in various places in Srimad Bhagavatam. So would you like us to read again?
Yeah, I don't think is it very long?
No, we are
The
just
fourth
reading
paragraph?
one paragraph at a time. So
Yeah.
I can start. Panchali Mataji, would you like to read? I've read, so I can give chance to somebody else as well.
Yes, Mataji, I'm just going to quickly bring it up on the screen, or if you want to
Yes,
share it.
Yes. That's a good idea. Excellent idea. You can share now, Mataji.
Okay, so I'm just going to quickly bring it up. Sorry, Mataji. Okay, so we read from, so I'll just read Sanskrit again. So again, apologies for my Sanskrit pronunciation. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Aham eva sameva gre nanya tatsat asat param paschadaham yad etacha yavashisyeta sosmiyaham. Translation: Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation when there was nothing but myself, nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead, and after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead. So I move to the 4th paragraph, which says, so Mataji, yesterday we covered that the Sanskrit of do you want me to read that as well? The Maharaj Parikshit, all of that?
No, just the English.
Okay, so in various places in Srimad Bhagavatam and in other revealed scriptures, the existence of the personality of Godhead is mentioned too. For example, in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.8.10 by Maharaj Parikshit, who says, how does the personality of Godhead, the cause of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, who is also freed from the influence of the illusory energy and is the controller of the same, lie in everyone's heart? Similar also is a question of Vidura, who asks in Srimad Bhagavatam 3.7.37. Sridhar Swami explains in his notes, during the annihilation of the creation, who serves the Lord lying on Shesha, etc. This means that the transcendental Lord, with all his name, fame, quality, and paraphernalia, exists eternally.
The same confirmation is also in the Kashikanda of the Skanda Purana in connection with Dhruva Charita. It is said there that even the devotees of the personality of Godhead are not annihilated during the period of the entire annihilation of the material world, not to speak of the Lord himself. The Lord is ever existent in all three stages of material change. Hare Krishna.
Vanchakalpatarubhasta, Kripa Sindhupadevata, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebho, Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All glories unto His divine grace. ISKCON BBT founder, Charya, His divine grace, Srila Prabhupada. So good to meet again. Thank you for having me. So these are such famous verses. The Chatu Shloki, the four essential verses of the entire Bhagavad theology. Everything, all of our understanding of Lord Krishna is summarized in these four verses. And the remainder of Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami will be expanding on these. As we may remember, Srila Vyasadeva, the author of all the Vedic scriptures, so vast, right? 4 Vedas and the 108 Upanishads, 18 Puranas, and the Dhanurveda, Ayurveda, scriptures about poetry and plays, acting, Mahabharata, Ramayana, all these huge, just millions of verses, tremendous. So we learned that Srila Vyasadeva, the 17th incarnation of Lord Krishna, Shaktavesh avatar, is the either directly or indirectly the author, either under his direction or directly. It is through him. So he is the authority. So after setting down the 108 Upanishads, which are very philosophical and spiritual, whereas the 4 Vedas have so many prayers to demigods and a few to Lord Vishnu for getting the things we need in this world. But the Upanishads, they are about eternity, spirit, Brahman. And after composing those, Srila Vyasadeva summarized all of that spiritual philosophy in the manner of debate or comparison against competing Vedic spiritual paths, the Vedanta Sutra. So that's the summary of the Vedic spirituality. And as I said, Srila Vyasadeva, he addresses Buddhism and Karma Mamamsa and Jaimini and all of the leading, competing Vedic spiritual paths, Mayavad, he addresses and defeats. So, this Srimad Bhagavatam, it is good to note, at the end of every chapter, Srila Vyasadeva writes, Brahma Sutra Bhasyam. which means that this Srimad Bhagavatam, it is the commentary on the summary. It is so deep and important part of the Vedic scriptures, and most, I think I could say most, but at least many, even pundits, they do not know this. You go to India, you ask them about this. They will not know this. It requires such, because the Vedic scriptures are so big, and a Brahmin is anyone who teaches any part of the Vedas. A Brahmin who teaches the Dhanurveda about war, or the Ayurveda about medicine. They're all, assuming that they're of good behavior, good character, they are Brahmins, very dear to Lord Krishna. Namo Brahmana Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitayata. These are the Brahmins Lord Krishna is speaking about. Not necessarily Vaishnava, just a teacher of the Vedas who has good character. That is Brahman. But very, very few, as far as I understand, have studied everything. I imagine how long that would take to study all of this. 4 Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, Mahabharata, Ramayana. It's just incredible. But there are devotees who have, not just in our ISKCON Sampradaya, because there are 3 other Sampradayas. We are part of the Brahma Madhva, just like Lord Brahma here is the leader of our Sampradaya. But there's also Shiva Sampradaya and 4 Kumara Sampradaya and Lakshmi Sampradaya, Vaishnava lines of teaching. They're all bona fide, all devoted to Lord Vishnu, Krishna. But here, of course, Brahmaji, he knows all, and Srila Vyasadeva, but the leaders of these sampradayas, just like the leader of the Lakshmi Sampradaya, we may know, Sri is Srila Ramanujacharya, and Madhvacharya for our Brahma Sampradaya. Of the Kumara Sampradaya is Nimbarka, and of the Shiva Sampradaya is Vishnu Swami. So these are historical persons, and they studied. They did. And in our line of Brahma Madhva, we have, of course, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He studied all of these. And the 6 Goswamis, Sri Rupa, Sri Sanatan, Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva, especially, Gopal Bhatta, they studied everything, especially Jiva Goswami. And then there's another great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, Srila Baladev Vidyabhushana. So this Baladev Vidyabhushana, he wrote a commentary on that Vedanta Sutra. This Baladev Vidyabhushana, he is, at least externally, he is like Madhvacharya, so well read and, of course, perfect character, and writing commentaries and defeating opposing spiritual philosophies. And then Jiva Goswami also. So Jiva Goswami has written what's called, you may know, the Sandarbhas. There are 5, I believe it's 5, because Lord Chaitanya ordered that, we know Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as famous for being a scholar and so very learned. Even historically, you go to Wikipedia, you go anywhere, he is known in history, but he did not write hardly anything. He left us the Shikshashtaka, The 8. So how important are they? If that's the only thing he thought was important to leave, those 8 prayers about the chanting of Lord Krishna's holy name, how important that must be. But that's, except for 1 or 2 other things, that's it. But he ordered the 6 Goswamis, and he ordered all of his followers, actually. It is an open instruction to anyone who is a devotee of Lord Chaitanya to write literatures expounding Krishna Bhakti. And specifically, he asked the 6 Goswamis to give Krishna Bhakti with all references, Nana Shastra, right? That verse in the prayers to the 6 Goswamis, that they give all full explanation with reference. Because the thing is, there are many people, even now, we may know some, who think that this bhakti is sentimental. Well, you sing and you dance and you cry and you dress your deities and you're all so sweet and nice, but you're just emotional people. Some people think like that. But the fact is that this Krishna bhakti, it sits just like we're studying right now today, these Chatushloki, which is why I guess we're discussing it. Sometimes I don't know why I'm talking what I'm talking about, but I find out later. I put my trust in the internal energy that somehow it will turn out right. I hope it does. But anyways, so it's fitting together. So here we're this Chatushloki. This is the most core theology, philosophy of Krishna consciousness. And Jiva Goswami, like this, although he wrote so much poetry, and you may say emotional love poetry about Krishna, but he's quite famous even in universities for giving the Sat Sandarbha. Not sure I can remember them all. I think, let's see, we have the Bhagavat Sandarbha, the Paramatma Sandarbha, Krishna Sandarbha, Bhakti Sandarbha, and Prema. I think it's Prema Sandarbha. So yeah, there's 5. So he begins with this Bhagavat Sandarbha, which is to establish the personality of Krishna, just like here. Just like these 4 verses, they're speaking about the personality of Krishna and the form of Krishna and the activities of Krishna, of God, and how he is simultaneously one with, but at the same time separate, just like in Bhagavad Gita, Maya idam tatam sarvam jagita vyakta murtina matstani sarvabhutani, that I am, by my energy, I am everything, but just as a cow is separate from the milk, I am separate from my energy. Just as when we have a cup of milk, we don't have the 800-pound cow in our hand. But the milk is cow, is it not? In one sense, from one perspective, the milk is cow. But it's the energy of the cow. You see, so it's 2 things at the same time. It is the cow, but it's the cow in the form of the cow's energy. You see, the cow is in the field chewing the grass, and the milk is in our hand. So the same way, Krishna, all this energy, the chair we're sitting on, the pillow, the couch, the computer, the cell phone, the air that we're breathing, it is all Krishna. There is nothing but Krishna. And that is what this Chatushloki, one thing that this Chatushloki, that our Vaishnava theology establishes. It's called, what is that? Oh.
Is it Achintaveda Ved Tattva, Prabhuji?
Yes, there's another name. Yeah, very good. There's another name for it, though. It's in modern theology. There's what is that? There's a monism, and then there's
Monotheism.
dualism, and then there's another, which basically means just that there's God and His energy, and they're the same, but He is separate. So this is our Vaishnava theology, which very nicely explains how everything is. It's not that the roach is God, but the roach is God in the sense that the cockroach is the energy of God. We don't offer our pranams to the roach, cockroach, or the rat, but we do recognize that these are not separate from Krishna. Nothing is separate from Krishna. Premanjana Charita Bhakti Valo Chanena Shanta Sadaiva Vidyesha Valo Kayanti Yam Shama Sunaram Chinta Guna Sarupam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Vichami. So Srila Prabhupada, he explains to us and all the Vaishnava philosophers, and of course, why? Because they're repeating Lord Brahma. And this is spoken to him by Lord Krishna himself. It is so authoritative. That those with the eyes with love, whose eyes are smeared, premanjana, who have love for Krishna, that's all they see. They don't see separateness as the main thing, but that everything is Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada gives the very sweet bhakti, because bhakti and ultimate theology are the same thing. And we'll come back around to that. But I'm no doubt we have all heard that. But with the eyes of love, one can understand, one sees. As a mother, her child is at the school and she's cleaning and she sees the child's shoes or something, and she remembers, oh, my child. And she thinks, oh, he did this, she did that, I'm going to make this nice thing for them. But she's only seeing the shoes. But the shoes are the child, in a sense. They're connected. So same thing. So the devotee, Prem Anjana Charita. So it just comes to mind, I'm talking to myself, that when we see perhaps that our mind is thinking too separate, it must be that we have lost some edge to our devotion to Krishna. We have forgotten Krishna. You know, that this is black, this is a white, this is that, without connection to Krishna. Or that I'm going to utilize this thing for my pleasure or some whatever purpose without reference, just like a servant in a big house. You know, they see the car and, oh, I'm going to go for a ride, get some biscuits and tea. But it's not your car. You must ask, can I please use your car? I want to get some biscuits and tea. So, because you remember, I can't just use it. But if someone just takes the car, that must mean either they're forgetting or they're so overcome with strong desire that they do forget, or they just ignore it. So this love of Krishna, wish I could remember the technical name, but anyways, this vision that Krishna describes and that Lord Brahma is describing here, Maya Idam Titam Sarvam, that everything is Krishna and at the same time it's not Krishna. So this is the core philosophy. And so in his Sandarbhas, Bhagavat Sandarbha, he begins with that. Then Paramatma Sandarbha, all about how Lord Krishna is present in everyone's heart. Then Krishna Sandarbha, directly about Krishna. And so it's like walking through I'm not sure if museum is the right word, but when you read, and they're available in PDF form, but when you read these, translated by ISKCON devotees, but when you read them, so many verses he's quoting, and it's so obvious what a comprehensive grasp and reading that Jiva Goswami has done. Because he quotes this Upanishad and this Upanishad and that Purana and Mahabharata and Ramayana and on, and it's just mystical that someone could do that. And this Baladeva Vijabhushana the same way in his writings. So Lord Chaitanya instructed them that you establish this love of Krishna based upon the theology, the scriptural references of the Upanishads. The importance of this is to appreciate what I was saying, that Krishna Bhakti is not just some people singing and dancing and everything. It's a gross misunderstanding. Actually, in many universities of the world, the position of Madhvacharya and Srila Jiva Goswami and Baladeva Vijabhushana, they are recognized as being among the top logicians and rational thinkers and speakers, teachers in the world, in all of history. Not small potatoes, So it's not necessary to know all this, just that Lord Krishna is such a wonderful personality, and Lord Ram and Lord Chaitanya and Lord Vishnu, Srimati Radharani, they're all such wonderful personalities, attractive. It's all we need, really. But if anyone wants some rational logic and rational philosophy, we have it. And this section of Srimad Bhagavatam answers by citing the Lord's version. And these 4 verses, you meet someone maybe, oh, I'm a philosophy major, I'm religious major, oh, well, that's nice. Well, then maybe you'll be able to appreciate a little, you can even flatter than that. It's a little deep, but I think you could understand maybe. So here, you read this section of Srimad Bhagavatam. Oh yes, I can read complex things, but it's so deep here. So Krishna Sandarbha, and then Srila Jiva Goswami goes on. He establishes Krishna as a person, and logically, but mostly by citing scripture and the spiritual world, and about Vaikuntha and Krishna Loka and all these things. And then Bhakti Sandarbha, where he presents the whole process of bhakti with reference to scripture. And all of this is summarized. We don't have to read these directly, because this is why this is just another one of the tremendous indications of the love that our ISKCON founder, Srila Prabhupada, has for us and for Krishna and for the world, because he presented in English, translating, going to bed at 10 and rising at 1 a.m. Who can do that? Who rises, who lays down at 10 and gets up at midnight or 1 a.m. and then works until 5 a.m., right? At the age of 70, 75, 80, days before he left this world. Incredible. Even from an order, you watch a movie about such a person, say, wow, that is an amazing person. Wow. And so he summarized in that he gave us teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya, he instructed, as we know, Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami. They're long chapters in it, and it's all of that summarized. And he gave it to us, summarized. And he gave us Nectar of Devotion by Srila Rupa Goswami. So Jiva Goswami, he also gave Bhakti Sindarbha and then Prema Sindarbha, which is dedicated to the higher stages of love of Krishna. Just like in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that chapter about Lord Chaitanya instructing Sanatana Goswami, it begins with the basics, and then I believe the following chapter is called Love of God, Love of Godhead. So, Prema Bhakti. So we'll circle back, as they say, that as Srila Prabhupada has instructed us, and we find in our Bhakti literatures, Vasudevam Savameti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha, isn't it? In Bhagavad Gita, we go back to Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the ABCs, but we find this core theology there, and we find the seeds, we may call them seeds, of prema there. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Gyanamam Rajante Vasudevam Savameti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. What chapter is that? Is that the third chapter? I'm not sure. Oh, seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So that when one, after many births, has reached the full understanding of everything, what they call the bottom line, one understands that Krishna is everything, and falls completely in love with Krishna. Aham savasya prabhava mata savam pravartante iti manpa bhajanti mam Buddha Bhava Samanvata, right? In the 10th chapter, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, the one who understands me as a cause of all causes and the source of everything, Buddha Bhava Samanvata, he worships with all my heart, all their heart, falls in love with Krishna, which gives us some indication of the importance of understanding Krishna. Now, we say that just love Krishna, just appreciate him, how attractive he is, and how wonderful his personality and activities. And ultimately, Raganuga Bhakti and Ragatmaka Bhakti, the awakening of our natural flowing love for Lord Krishna, is all that we're looking for and all that Lord Krishna wants. And the only thing that really pleases Krishna the best way is a little bhakti, a little genuine feeling, and not necessarily swooning love, but just some even respect, sincere respect. O Lord Krishna, I offer my respect unto you. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is it? Reverence. That's, of course, bhakti. But the thing is, we are instructed, advised, that to be able to stay on the path of sadhana bhakti long enough in this life, in order to fully awaken, depending upon our past life background, we do need to understand Krishna in terms of his opulences, how great Lord Krishna is. When we find our devotion wavering, or we find our enthusiasm going down, or someone else's, it must be. If understanding of Krishna, well, one thing, but if understanding of Krishna in truth results in fixed devotion, then lack of understanding or some degree of missing understanding means that the devotion becomes weaker. You know, why aren't 10,000 people at the temple every Sunday. Well, they may be having really things they can't get away from. But, you know, the devotion is probably not there either. It's not that important because we're not understanding Krishna for who he is. And we are directly instructed by Srila Prabhupada in the Srimad Bhagavatam earlier. I think it's earlier. Yeah, in the second canto, that the neophyte devotees must absolutely not neglect hearing about Krishna's opulences, reading Bhagavad Gita again and again, and reading this second canto again and again, regularly, reminding ourselves, refreshing our feeling for the greatness of Krishna. If we don't think he's great enough to protect us, why would we take shelter of him, right? We want to take shelter of something else. We would want to do something else. So the theology is both, just like Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Vedanta. Bhakti, the affection and the devotion, and Vedanta, which doesn't mean we have to become big scholars, but just it's not difficult. Just we have to hear Bhagavad Gita regularly and hear the purports of Srila Prabhupada, because some of us may have heard warnings that we should be careful about reading bhakti literatures or spiritual literatures who are not written by Srila Prabhupada. Because as the Padma Purana instructs us, one must learn bhakti in the line of disciplic succession so that we don't become deviated. There are those who are too scholarly and they're just very academic and they don't speak very much about love of Krishna. And then there are those who can speak for hours and endlessly about Srimati Radharani and the gopis, but they don't talk very much about how we're not this body and how Krishna's God. And so there is something for everyone. When we reach a certain level of devotion, we may not need to hear. The gopis don't need to hear about how Krishna is Bhagavan. Arjuna doesn't need to hear about that. But I know I do, and probably most of us do. And even if we don't, Srila Rupa Goswami instructs that one should not, that even if one is completely awakened, one should act as if one is not, just to set an example. Because otherwise people will be, if people just hear about the gopis all day, they'll be doomed. There's so many millions and millions of people all over the world who know nothing about Aham Brahmasmi. What are they going to hear about the gopis? A little bit. But then they just go back to doing their sinful activities. Sometimes some people who are, I suppose, not so experienced, even they'll try and find fault with Srila Prabhupada, that why so much about you're not this body and how Krishna's God and debating the scientists and all of these things. Why not just talk more about Radhakund? And of course, Srila Prabhupada could. But his melting heart of compassion and the order of his spiritual master prevented him. There are some small number of Vaishnavas who don't need to hear about that. But Lord Krishna wants every soul everywhere to come back to Godhead, to break free from the cycle of birth and death. And they have to begin where they have to begin. And so it was the compassion and brilliance and love of our ISKCON founder, Acharya, that he did not deviate from this. Rather, he gave us this second canto, and he gave us these long purports. This second canto has some of the longest purports in all of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And there are purports also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which are even longer than these, and they're all such deep philosophy. But that is Prema Bhakti. That is Prema Bhakti. That my Lord Krishna, he wants everyone to come back to Godhead. He doesn't just want to water the seeds of devotion of advanced devotees. He wants both. He wants all of his devotees to be watered and nourished and protected and taken care of so they can become free of suffering. And so we have this second canto with the Chatu Shloki, and we have Jiva Goswami, and we have Baladev Vijayabhushana, and we have so many lectures of our ISKCON founder where he talks so much about how we're not these bodies. I don't understand fully how I'm not this body. I admit it. I certainly don't act that way. So what business do I have spending too much time with the gopis and the Madhurya Rasa, which we should hear about, and certainly. But the other side must be there so we can remain on the path for the 5 or 10 or 25 or 35 years or whatever it is, as we gradually awaken as Queen Kunti gives us the example, that may my attraction to you flow forever, just like the Ganga flows to the ocean. So this is our goal, and we will get there, and we have been given the path. So I'll stop here. So any comments or questions or discussion?
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for today's session. Taking you back to today's verse 2.8.10, in which the question is asked that in spite of you being the controller of the creation, maintenance, and annihilation, and being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, why is he lying in everyone's heart? Is it his mercy? Why is Krishna in our hearts? Why is the super soul in our heart? Why is the super soul in us? If I understand it correctly, it says, how does the personality of Godhead, the cause of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, who's always freed from the influence of illusionary energy and is the controller of the same, lie in everyone's heart?
Yes, well, he needs to be there to direct everything. He is the overseer and the super soul. Someone has to tally up. Someone has to be the accountant. So how is the results of all activity of all the living entities to be monitored? That's how he does this. Super soul. He incarnated first, right? Lord Mahavishnu creates all the universes, and Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and the lotus, and then within all the living entities, core of their hearts, Krishna is present, observing, and Sarvasitaham Riddhi Sanivasta Mata Smitir Gyanam Apahoanam Cha, reminding us of what we wanted to do. It's a good thing he's there, otherwise we'd forget what to do, right? Who would remind us, right? We're sitting there, right? And then all of a sudden, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to call this person. So Krishna's so good friend, actually. Such a good friend. Even even criminals think about that. They're going to rob the bank. Oh, I forgot my mask. I have to go back. Krishna is reminding what to do, how to be successful. So kind Krishna is, and detached. Yeah.
It's only his mercy, yeah. So he's present in all living things. So he's present even in trees and plants, and because they are living. So he's present in all the lower forms
Yeah.
of animals and
Yeah,
anything that is
it's
living.
described this whole material existence. It's like a cloud over the spiritual world. So, it's like the spiritual world's underneath, so to speak. Everything, the stone, everything, Krishna's present as spirit, Brahman. Radio waves are everywhere, so Krishna's also. We can't see him directly, but he's there.
So
Any other questions or discussion?
Yes, in the same paragraph, it says that even the devotees of the personality of Godhead are not annihilated. So does that mean that all these living beings are his devotees, or is the devotees are the only ones who are self-realized?
That's a good question. I'm wondering if that relates to Lord Brahma. Of course, none of us are annihilated. As Lord Krishna tells us in Bhagavad Gita, we are all eternal. No one is ever annihilated. But everyone in the material world changes bodies. At the time of the partial annihilation, because there are partial annihilations of the cosmic creation after each day of Lord Brahma, he's not annihilated. He remains for the next creation. And at the final annihilation, at the end of his life, it is stated that he and others on Brahmaloka who are qualified go back to Godhead. So they're not annihilated at the time of destruction. I believe it connected later on. It's also stated like that. They're not annihilated. Everyone else is, in the sense that their material bodies are annihilated and then they're born again, but not Lord Brahma and those who are on his level, or we at the end of our human life.
So what is annihilated is only the material energy. So this human body is annihilated, but the soul and the super soul. Sorry?
It must be, because we are not annihilated.
Yeah. The soul and the super soul are not annihilated. They are eternal, and they will always be.
Yes. Our whole thing. Eternal.
Are there any other questions or comments from the group?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful class. Just a quick thing. Am I right in thinking that during partial annihilation, it's Lord Brahma, of course, him, and also the top 4 planets in the planetary system. So the top 4 planets, they are not annihilated. So that would be the planets of the sages, the 4 Kumaras. Am I right?
Satyaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka.
Tapa, yes. So, and then during the total annihilation, after after Brahma's tenure, then yes, so Brahma, Lord Brahma, if he's a devotee, he goes back. So the sages and the Tapaloka and the Kumaras, do they go, because they don't go back to the spiritual world, or do they go back to the spiritual world again along with Brahma, Lord Brahma? So all the jivas in the top 4.
I don't know specifically. I can't say I've ever heard anything exactly about the 4 Kumaras, but about in general, you'll find the sentence that those who are elevated like Lord Brahma go back to Vaikuntha along with him at the end, which is true of everyone. This is what Lord Krishna tells us in Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Those who love him and think of him at the time of leaving this world, they go to him. And then again, the understanding is there that certain associates of Lord Krishna repeatedly appear, like Arjuna. So I don't know if the four Kumaras repeatedly manifest, or maybe some other persons under a different name. I don't know. Maybe someone could find out and
Thank you, Prabhuji.
share the information.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, is it okay to ask another question, but completely not related to the lesson today? Or shall I just wait for some?
No, go ahead, please. It's always good to discuss Krishna Katha, as long as we have a few minutes.
So thank you, Prabhuji. So it was when right at the beginning we were discussing about the sampradayas. I've often wondered about the Swaminarayans, because they claim, because we come from the Gauriya Brahma Madhva Gauriya sampradaya, but the Swaminarayans, they also claim that that their Lord is mentioned in the Vedas. Where do they fit in? Because they are also Vaishnavs, or are they Vaishnavs, but they believe in other things, other deities as well.
Yeah,
So I can never
I
fit
remember.
them in.
Yeah, I can't claim to be an authority all about it. I remember doing some research about it to try and understand. And yeah, they present their one of their main spiritual teachers as an incarnation of Krishna. And as far as I can understand, this person is not mentioned anywhere in the Vedic scriptures, which doesn't mean that the person is not a devotee of Krishna, but not necessarily. Because in the Padma Purana, it gives these four sampradayas. Srila Vyasadeva names them. So if they can show a connection, a solid connection to one of the spiritual masters in one of these four lines, and we can verify that their teaching has not changed from Ramanuja, Nimbarka, Vishnu Swami, or Madhva Acharya, then we can understand that they're in the line of a bona fide sampradaya. But as far as I know, they present one of their gurus anyways as God. I mean, it's Krishna.
That's all right. Yeah, because I was asked the question. We have quite a few Swaminarayan temples in London, and I was asked the question and I couldn't answer, and they did, because I was telling them that all our our incarnations, the Lord's incarnations, everything is mentioned in the Vedas, and they gave me a reference that their Lord is also an incarnation of Narayana. And that's in the Vedas as well.
If they can cite the verse and the scripture there, sure, why not? And then again, there are of course many empowered devotees who are not mentioned, but they will need to be within one of these lines, one of these four lines, presenting the same message. Otherwise, although they may be very nice people and learned, strictly speaking, they are not bona fide. And we should not listen to them as an absolute authority on Krishna. And they may be able to advise us on other things, but not about Krishna. The understanding of Krishna, who he is, how to worship him, how to go back to Godhead, is given in these four sampradayas, nowhere else. Or maybe there is by coincidence, but we are instructed only to connect with a spiritual teacher of these four.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
I mean, if you want the bona fide best thing, it depends. Some people don't. They're satisfied with a half-baked biscuit. Or not a half-baked, but a biscuit which isn't really the full original recipe. It's good enough for them. Other people want the original recipe, nothing missing. I get the full benefit. So it depends what people want. Some people even want to be cheated. They know this is really not good philosophy, but it's good enough. So I can enjoy myself fully at the same time. So it works. So we should not be like that. And we
Thank
should encourage others not to be like that. That, yeah, what you're doing, your spiritual path, it's good. It's good. But why not go to the next level? Because the person who has given the word yoga, without Vyasadeva, there's no word yoga. So Vyasadeva, that is what you call the chopping technique. Without Vyasadeva, there's no word yoga, Krishna, Shiva, nothing. Many people don't know that. So he advises, follow these 4 sampradayas. Das, as they say. That's it.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for clarifying.
Thank you, Mataji, for that question. Are there any other questions or comments from the group?
May I just add something, please? Prabhuji, in the Gita, Lord Krishna says, all paths lead to him. So does that not mean that, okay, all the different religions, whichever people choose, will lead to Krishna in
Oh,
the
yeah,
end?
absolutely. Absolutely. Just like if you want to go to Edinburgh in Scotland from London, you can travel south. You can. You can go south all the way down to Antarctica and come around the other side of the world and go over the Arctic and come down through the Orkney Islands and you can get to Edinburgh. You can do that. Sure. It's a lot more expensive. It'll take a lot more time. It's more dangerous. And there's much more risk of not getting to Edinburgh. So this is a simple way to explain to people and don't oppose them. Yes, take any path you want. But I want to get there as quickly as possible at the least expense with the least risk. Wouldn't you?
Yes,
So,
of course.
so it's a very interesting, nice way to put it, I think, that, yeah, all paths can lead. You know, like people say, everything is the same. In one way, they're the same, and then in another way, they're not. That's the thing. That it's not absolutely the same 150%. Someone with a sharp brain has to point that out. Right?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, even Srila Prabhupada told us, you can chant Hare Krishna offensively, and you will go to Krishna after 700 births. So it doesn't matter how you chant, you'll get there. 700 births. I wouldn't want to pass through all of that. Do you? Right? It doesn't matter if I follow the 4 regular principles. No, it doesn't. Ultimately, as long as you chant, but it'll take a long time and so much suffering.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for that explanation. Can I request Panchalika or Mataji? We have exceeded our time by 15 minutes, and I'm sorry about that. Mataji, can you please end the session for today? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class as always, taking us through the journey of, talking about Krishna, the importance, and how, everything resides in Krishna, comes from Krishna. And we have to keep remembering that at all times. And there is nothing outside of Krishna. That is what we tend to forget. And so this verse in Srimad Bhagavatam reminds us once again that there is nothing outside Krishna, and he was there in the past, he's there in the present, and he will be there at all times in the future as well. And we also, towards the end of the session, we talked about the partial, the total annihilations, the different sampradayas. Everything leads only to one source, and that is Krishna. So thank you very much, Prabhuji, for taking us through that again. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. If we can please unmute and say Hari Bols for Prabhuji to glorify him. Hare
Hari
Krishna.
Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hi, Bol.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyashcha kripa sindhubhaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
His
Thank you so
praise,
much for
Dina,
having
Sharana,
me,
Prabhuji.
allowing me in your association. And of
Jai.
course, I wish all of you well. And I pray that I can be of some service in the future. And I ask your prayers. I can become better devotee. I need blessings. We all need blessings. I ask sincerely.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I think we all need blessings. So thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Everyone be well.
Hare
Bye for now.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.